What is up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel. In today's YouTube video, we're going to be talking about how to improve your base rush out of any defensive formation in Madden 23. Now, I want to apologize up front just because we don't have a highly edited video here today. In much of July, I will be doing some one-take style videos just to make sure that I'm getting content out to you guys. My editor, Jimmy, who's done a phenomenal job taking over the videos here on the channel, is actually out reskinning and repainting Gridiron Gameplans.gg in preparation for Madden 24. Now, I want to say from the onset, if you guys are on Gridiron Gameplans, or even if you guys are not on Gridiron Gameplans, I would like to make you guys aware of our Madden 24 presale. You guys can head over to gridirongameplans.gg/subscribe. The link is below in the description, and you guys can take advantage of our presale offer where you guys can sign up and get every piece of content that I drop in Madden 24 for one low payment of just $75. Now, traditionally, the site is a $9.95 monthly or a $99.95 yearly. And you guys know just how much content goes on the website if you guys are a member, but it is my best offer of the year. Lots of players take advantage of this offer. You guys should definitely check it out. And I'm also going to include every bit of content that I put out in Madden 23, so that way you guys can poke around the website and kind of get a feel for the style of content, the delivery, and also take a look at the X Nasty game plan, which has been my offense for the last 2 years. As you guys know, that is going to be an offense that is going to be layered into pretty much all the playbooks in Madden 24. So it's going to have an X Nasty of one style: shotgun, shotgun strong, under center, or pistol, in so many different playbooks. So you can bet that we're going to be in that offense next year. Now, again, today's video is more of a defensive lens. So what we're going to be doing here is kind of explaining how to get a better base rush out of your favorite defense in the game. Now, for me, I am a nickel over G guy. And what I'm going to share with you guys is kind of just the bare bones of a vault update that I put out here actually in the month of June, technically last month by the time you guys see this video. And what we're going to be talking about is the 1-tech, 3-tech. And for those that don't know, this is basically a pass rush technique that you guys want to employ out of whatever defense you are in this year's game. So what I'm going to do here is kind of explain in general what the benefits of this particular defensive alignment are. Now, for those that are wondering, I'm using the Sam Hubbard. For all the breakdowns in today's video, I'm going to contain my edge rushers. This is purely about the interior pass rush. So we're going to be focusing on these two defensive tackles. A 1 technique is basically a defensive tackle that lines up in an A gap. So you can see right here, this is Jeffrey Simmons. A 3 technique is essentially a defensive lineman that lines up in a B gap. And you can see right there that Big John Runyon is lined up in the B gap. Now, for those that don't know, the 1-3 in terms of your techniques on your interior pass rushers is something that 4-down lineman defenses typically employ. And one of the most important pass rushers on your team is your 3 technique. I know traditionally you're going to see a lot of players that are going to, rack up the sacks being players that rush off the edge. But the reason that they get those sack totals is because of the interior pass rush. So this player right here, specifically the 3 tech, is a player that lines up and gets a lot of one-on-one animations, while the 1 tech is typically designed to eat up the center and one of the guards in terms of being the guy that takes up the double team, allowing his 3 other teammates to have one-on-ones. Now, again, if you guys want to use unstoppable forces or things like that, feel free. We are going to contain and really just focus on how good a 3 technique is in this year's game. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about here before we snap the ball is that when you take a look at the resistance underneath the offensive lineman, you can see that there's those little shadows to the left and right feet. And those meters are something that fill up over the course of the game. The thing about a 3 tech is that they get basically a one-on-one and they can rush inside or outside. And this is a really important thing because traditionally you think of your edge rushers rushers as guys that, you know, are winning outside and keeping contained in the run game. This player right here is a player that can win inside or outside. So if you have an offensive lineman that develops resistance to an inside move, he can still win to the outside and play without that player having resistance to that move. So this player is pivotal in any defense in the game. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to snap the ball a few times and I'm going to click off, and I'm not going to throw. I just want you to watch how important it is that the 3 tech is the player that really does most of the work for your defense. And you see that we're getting club animation here in this example. We'll snap the ball a few times and kind of give you this gist of things here as it pertains to this. So again, you're watching Runyon here, spin move off of that. He's going to be able to win to the outside. So a couple snaps in a row, he's gotten some wins to the outside, but still no resistance. So this is a player that is going to be really important in terms of applying pass rush. Now, again, I'm containing my defensive ends. They're not doing anything in these plays. I just want to focus on this defensive tackle in the 3 tech. Now you see right there, he actually got stonewalled a little bit and then did a little bit of a swim move and was able to finally get to the quarterback. This is where I want to kind of talk about crashing of your defensive line. A lot of players don't know this, but the 3 technique in a crash down. So if I were to hit left on the D-pad and then down on the right thumbstick, the crash down is going to be something where you are going to be able to get some really insane animation. So now that we're crashed down to the inside, watch how Runyon gets this hard inside rush and then gets this spin move off of this. This is going to be something that is very, very scary from a pocket collapsing standpoint. A lot of players don't know this because we traditionally talk about the metas in the game being 3 down linemen. But this player crashing inside, you see that he's got an opportunity with this particular crash inside to maybe do a bull rush or a club move to the right shoulder of this guard. But look at the leverage of this rush. You see that he's got him spun sideways. And this is really tough because you're really not going to be able to step up into the B gap. You're really not going to be able to step up into the A gap because he's shoving that player into that. And then he's able to branch off of this with a spin move and get to the quarterback. Again, keeping in mind here in this example that we are not basically doing anything with our defensive ends on this play. So this is something that is really, really important as it pertains your pass rush. Is the 3 technique alignment in the game is so important to the success of your pass rush. So let me go ahead here. I'm going to call just another formation here, and we'll see if we can kind of align our defensive linemen a little bit differently. And you see right here in this example, now we've got a 3 technique to the right side. So we've got this B gap rusher right here, Simmons, and we've got Runyon right here in the A gap. Again, with this particular defensive alignment, you're going to be looking to your 3 technique to be the player that is doing the damage for you. So we snap this ball, here's Simmons, and you see that he gets a little bit of an over move, is able to win to the inside. I'll go ahead and snap a few of these pretty consistently, and you're going to see basically the same results. So snap the ball one-on-one for Simmons. He wins to the outside this time. And you see how important this is going to be to the success of your pass rush. Is this 3 technique is really, really important. Now, of course, again, in these examples, I'm just using stock rush angles. Once I start to get into a habit of actually crashing my defensive line down, this is going to be where you really notice things start to kind of take off. So you see that hard inside rush, and he's able to get an under move and still get to the quarterback. So really, really effective. So you see right here that the 3 technique is very, very pivotal to the success of a pass rush. Now, the problem is a lot of defenses out there traditionally are set up the same way because players want to get blitz pressure. So some of them are like pinch, crash up. I'm just here to tell you that you can create 3 techniques in any defense you want. If you don't believe me, we're going to go ahead and hop into a different formation here, one that I don't even run. This is the 2-3 Sam. And with this particular defense, this is kind of a dollar-like formation. We're just going to go ahead and call a cover 4 drop. Now, you can see right here that we got a 0 technique. This is a nose tackle, head up on a center. We've got these guys, again, off the edge. What we're going to try to do is see if we can do a shift or, some sort of alignment where we kind of move our guys and see if we can create a 3 technique. And you see right here, we don't quite get a 3 technique. We got this defensive tackle that slides over, head up on Simmons, is head up on the right guard. And you see that he's basically in what would be considered a 2 technique, which is head up on an offensive guard. You also see underneath that right guard that there is some resistance being built up. So this is an important part where I try to mention to you that with this, you want to make sure that you have fresh interactions. So try to get players into the game that, are going to, have a full pass rush bar, move players around. It's really important towards the success of your defense. So when you start to kind of lab your defensive alignments up a little bit, you're looking for those 3 techniques. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to basically throw, I've actually got a way that I operate with this. So I'm going to put a player in the game here. We'll put just a different body. Let's go Fletcher Cox. And here with this 3-3 odd formation, traditionally odd formations are a little bit tougher to do this with because you end up with basically, a 0 technique head up. And then this is guys that are considered 4 techniques, right? So with this particular alignment here, you are going to be looking to crash your defensive line or shift them to a specific alignment. Now you see right here that we do have a 1 tech to the right and a 3 tech to the left, and we're still rushing 4. So what we've basically kind of done is turned our 3 down lineman defense into a 4-man front right here. Again, we crash down and we're saying, okay, Sam Hubbard is probably the guy that's going to be our impactful pass rusher on this particular rep. So we snap the ball. There's Hubbard. He's going to get the spin move to the outside shoulder of that guard, and we're there to the quarterback. If I were to flip this defense and try this another direction here, if we were to shift our defensive line to the left, now we got a 1 tech here and a 3 tech here. So what we're looking for here is a crash down. Now Furious George is the player that we're expecting to get some action here on this. You see Furious George gets in, and unfortunately right there, not a whole lot doing. But again, if you start to get into the habit of, crashing down, you'll typically notice that you end up having some, some success with the 3 tech. So let's go right back to Sam Hubbard. We'll crash down. You see a little bit of resistance here to the outside shoulder. We'll see if that ends up impacting him too negatively. And you see right there, he does a little rip move to the inside where there is no resistance, and we're able to get to the quarterback pretty easily for the sack. So this is where we talk about all the time how important it is to kind of be aware of the resistance and what type of rush moves you're playing. If you're playing a crash up every time, that outside move is going to be basically stalemated by the offensive lineman simply because of resistance. But you see right here that the inside move played as if it was a fresh interaction, that he wasn't prepared for it. He's able to get to the quarterback for a sack. Now, this is where you can also start to talk about things like Blitz. Blitz is an ability that wipes the resistance for everyone. So you see right here, if we look, there's no resistance anymore. I'm going to go ahead and flip my defense. I'm going to crash over here, crash down. Let's see if we can get Furious George going again here. We snap the ball. Furious George kind of got hung up a little bit right there. So it looks like George is kind of struggling a little bit with that alignment. But again, in terms of how you play this, if you can shift your defensive alignment into something that has a 1 tech and a 3 tech, you're going to be much better off with your defensive alignment. So if we take a look here at this 2-4 formation here, and we're facing whatever it might be, tight formation. If you can get them into a 3rd down and long, it doesn't benefit you to be in a pinched alignment with your linebackers stacked. It actually, if you're not going to blitz, helps you to be in something like this where you've got a 1 tech here and a 3 tech here. And we're back to Jeffrey Simmons where we know that he's going to be able to be pretty dominant from this alignment, gets that over rip move, and we're able to get to the quarterback quickly. So really easy stuff right here where you can just kind of predict exactly what's going to happen with your defense. Now, again, on Gridiron Game Plans, I do have in the vault in the month of June a setup that's going to talk about traits. It's going to talk about, all kinds of ratings and things that are going to make this better. Take advantage of our pre-sale for Madden 24, which is going to still unlock the 23 content for you guys. But I do want to take advantage of you guys still being this deep into the video and give you guys one last thing that you guys can add to your arsenal with this tip. One of the things that is really valuable is that with this particular alignment, you traditionally predict that the 3 technique is going to be the guy that goes off. You can actually make your nose tackle be the player that goes off here as well. So remember how we were talking about crashing down and that makes the 3 tech much better? If you have a 1 tech and a 3 tech and you want the 3 tech to be the player that eats the double team, you actually want to crash to the side of the 1 technique. So our left defensive tackle is the 1 tech. If I crash my defensive line left here, what that's going to do is we're hoping for Simmons to really get a hard inside rush and force the center to open to the right, which is going to open up the potential for our nose tackle to get a one-on-one with the left guard. So we snap this ball. You see it actually didn't end up working that time, but in a lot of cases, this actually does end up being really beneficial for you. Certain alignments, let's say that like we have our defensive line, you know, flip the other direction. If you crash left, this sometimes will allow you to free up Justin Simmons again. You see right here, we did get the club move from Runyon. 3 techniques are really, really dominant. That's basically all I'm trying to say here with this, but you can sometimes force the 3 technique to, you know, go one-on-one. Sometimes Hashmark can dictate this as well. You could be on one hash or the other, and sometimes if you crash a specific way, it'll make things, you know, change just a little bit. You see right here, there's that double team I was talking about. Now you see Runyon got freed up as the nose tackle. So those are things that you should definitely pay attention to. You notice that as soon as we put the ball on a hash mark, it changed how the offensive line targeted default. Whereas when we crashed left when the ball was perfectly in between the hashes, which is literally never the case in Madden, you notice that the guys still double team the same player. Now you see right here, we forced the double team on the 3 tech. You see how Simmons, the guy that was winning every time, is now the one eating the double team. And now Runyon is able to force his one-on-one to be a win for us. So you can kind of play a little bit of some head games with your opponent. So in this situation, if they're really used to Simmons killing them on this play, you could actually crash left and make Runyon be the more impactful player on a given down. So again, you see right here how now Runyon is the guy that is getting the one-on-one. And of course, we're kind of letting our edges play a little bit as well. But again, this has been all about getting your defensive tackles to become dominant pass rushers, and why the 3 technique is the piston of interior pass rush defenses in football. This is something that teams utilize all the time. Another technique that I'll leave you guys with that you may want to read up on that teams are using in real life is a 4-eye. Traditionally not known as a pass rushing technique in real life, but not too bad in Madden. So take a look at that one as well. But I hope this video helps you guys out. And if you guys learned something, just make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel, drop comments below. Let me know what you guys think about the video, and definitely take advantage of that Gridiron presale. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Sorry for the less editing than normal, but I hope it was helpful all the same. We'll see you guys later. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab, man. Good luck.